I know, we got an Amber
alert, Coach.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think it'll be a little cooler next time we see most of you guys, so I think that'll be appreciated by most everybody. Look, I thought we had, really a good month of work. With the OTAs and the mini camp, I thought we got a lot accomplished, and so it's kind of a good kickstart into the summer and getting us, a baseline and a foundation ready for training camp.
A lot of talk about the offensive.
A little more clarity on what happened to Juwan Johnson. Did he get injured in practice last week?
It's really hard to say because there wasn't any sort of event. He just it's his foot. His foot was bothering him, and so he's unable to practice right now. But it really wasn't an event, so I'm not really sure exactly, how it happened. And then we'll just see what his availability is and when he becomes available.
You haven't gotten a timeline in terms of like the post-surgery recovery or anything like that, or whether he's having surgery?
No, I don't have any timelines on anything. And honestly, I really wouldn't want to get into any sort of timelines on anything anyway. So we'll see where he's at.
A lot of talk about the new offense install. How has that gone so far, and what do you want to see from it in training camp?
Well, look, I think it's gone pretty well. We've installed a lot offensively, a lot of moving parts, a lot of motions. So it's been challenging, both from an offensive standpoint of our guys learning a new offense, but it's also been challenging from a defensive standpoint, seeing a lot of different looks and a lot of different plays. A guy like Demario Davis can't come out here and just play the same plays he's been playing for the last, 6 or 7 years or whatever the case may be. So it's causing everybody to have to really work. It's causing, us as a defensive staff to have to go in and talk about, okay, how do we handle some of these things that we're seeing? So I think it's been great work for all of us.
Alvin Kamara today?
He was here for the walkthrough this morning, and then he went in, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him, so I'm not sure why he wasn't out here for the rest of practice.
Is his absence related?
I have no idea. I haven't talked to Alvin, so I couldn't tell you. So that's all I got for you.
Did you expect to see a training camp this morning?
My expectation is that he would be. I haven't talked to him, so I can't tell you. I can't give you any information because he was here for the walkthrough and went in, and I haven't seen him since. So.
Dennis, can you talk a little bit more? Training camp up next, taking it to California. You already mentioned cooler atmosphere. What are you going to like about it?
Well, look, I think there's a few things. Obviously, being able to, get out of these elements a little bit, because this takes a toll on the player's body, this type of heat. And so being able to get out of those elements where that's one of the distractions that you don't have to deal with, as you go through training camp. I think the other thing is being able to get our team in a hotel, in a confined area where it's just us, and look, we love our families and we love our friends and all those things, and we love our fans and the city of New Orleans. And yet sometimes all of those things can be things that distract you from doing your job. And so I've always felt like when you go away, whether it be for an entire training camp or we've done this where we've gone and practiced against a few teams out in California, I just think it has a way of kind of uniting your team. And so I'm looking forward to that.
If you had some success this year, would you consider going back out there again next year?
Well, that's probably not a great question for me because I'm not the one that's writing the check to send the team out there for training camp. But yeah, I think it would be something that we would discuss. And look, there's positives and negatives. I went over the positives. The negatives is we're not here, in front of our fans who want to come out and watch us practice. So that would be the negative of it.
Just watching the offense for the last month, what are some of the things you feel like play to Derek's strength about this system?
Well, look, I think his ability, our ability to run the football, his ability to play action pass, I think fits some of the things that I think he can do really well. I think he's really taken to the things that he's being taught on how to play the quarterback position within this offense. Some of it is unique, different than what he's heard in the past. So I'm just excited about watching him develop within this offense, and I think he's looked really comfortable in it throughout this offseason.
Some of the bootlegs and stuff that you guys have been doing, does his athleticism help with that as well?
Yeah, when I say play actions, I'm talking about all of them. Whether boots, waggles, hard sell play actions, nakeds, all those things are all part of that whole deal. I think, I wouldn't say that Derek's athleticism is his best attribute, but I would say he's plenty capable from an athletic standpoint of executing the things that we're going to ask him to execute.
Coach, how much better you are than you were at the end of last season, do you think? How much improvement have you made?
There's zero way to answer that question because we haven't played a game yet. You know what I mean? So I like the work that we've gotten in. I'm excited about the group of players that we have. I'm excited about the coaches that we have, and how much better are we? We'll determine that, as we get into training camp, start playing some games, preseason games, regular season games, and we'll find out how much better we are.
Just to follow up on Kamara, I know you said you haven't talked to him, but would this be counted as an unexcused absence?
Yeah, I'm really not going to get into any of that stuff. At the end of the day, I've said what happened, and I haven't had an opportunity to talk to him, so I think it'd be unfair to make any statements on that right now.
Are you able to help us understand a little better what the procedure is that Juwan needs?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into his medical issues. He's got a foot injury, and we'll see where he's at. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that.
Dennis, from day one in training camp, like with Kool-Aid, is he focusing mainly on the outside corner or the slot? Or
He'll be focused on both. Yeah, he'll be focused on both.
How do you think the offense as a whole has really developed mentally under the new scheme?
Say that again?
How the offense has adapted to the new scheme from a mental standpoint in the last month?
Yeah, look, I think they've adapted well. And I think every time I've kind of been up here and talked to you guys, we're making progress, but we're a long way from where we need to be. And so I like the fact that we're making progress. And yet I come out here and watch practice and I see mistakes that get made, and we go in and we correct those. I think the key is we've done a pretty good job of minimizing repeat mistakes, meaning guys aren't making the same mistakes over and over, and I think that's progress, and so I think there's some things that we're doing well, but we're a long way from where we need to be.
Dennis, Dallin Holker is obviously a little bit smaller than the prototype at tight end. We've seen him take some snaps at fullback too. Is there any vision for him other than the full spectrum of tight end work, or would he be able to do everything you ask at that position?
Yeah, I think it still remains to be seen, right? I think he probably fits more in that, F or U tight end type of position, a little bit more of a move guy. I think he'll define himself a lot more once we put the pads on and see what he really can do from a physicality standpoint. And I think I'll be able to answer that question a lot better once I know where he's at from a physicality standpoint. I do think there's some things that he can do to help us in the passing game, and some things that excite me in that area. And then I just think we got to figure out, what can he do from a physicality standpoint? Can he block the C or D gap as an inline tight end. Can he line up, off the ball and fit on a linebacker inside? I don't know those answers yet. We'll figure it out in training camp.
And I wanted to ask, just with the impact of Juwan not being in that tight end group, and just the significance, you're going to lose him for a significant amount of time. Just the impact of not having him.
Yeah. Well, look, I think it remains to be seen what the amount of time is. I don't really have a timeline on it right now. But yeah, if we're out without him for any significant period of time, then I think that impacts that group. I think he was having a good offseason, and I think he's a guy that we feel like can help us, in particular in the passing game. And so, yeah, we'll have to adjust.
Dennis, you talked about that you guys don't repeat mistakes, and everybody from the quarterback down to the offensive lineman is saying how the new staff is really emphatic on detail orientation. What's different about the way that they're emphasizing getting the little things right?
Well, I mean, it's focused on the details, all the minor things, from your footwork to your hand placement, to your eyes, to your alignment, to the communication. All of those things matter, and like I said yesterday, all the details matter. You don't get to pick which ones do. So they do a good job of staying on top of those things, and I think we'll benefit from that.
Dennis, was Nick Sella very injury related or heat related?
He got, I think they said groin or hamstring. Again, it didn't seem like it was anything significant. It happened early on, like in, individual, I think.
Dennis, Hector is opening up some space by restructuring Taysom. Do you anticipate adding some veteran presence to this roster between now and training camp?
I'd say anything's up for discussion, and we're open. If we feel like there's something that we can do that will help our football team, then we'd be open to do that. We don't have anybody right now that we say we got a target on this guy that we're trying to go get. I can say that, but I can't tell you what's going to happen between now and training camp.
Dennis, when you're in training camp and you do get the pads on and inside drill where you have, let's say, 12 run plays, the defense knows you're running it offensively, considering where you were last year, and you don't want the offense to win every rep, you don't want the defense to win every rep, where last year you basically given up 4.5 yards a run, but you only gained 3.5. How do you look at that? What's a winning part of that aspect of that drill, both offensively and defensively, considering we're trying to obviously run the ball better, a higher average, and then also stopping the run?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, so that's a tough question in that, when somebody's going to win the play and somebody's going to lose the play. And so I think at the end of the day, you'd like there to be some consistency and some balance in that, in terms of, if the offense is running it at 4 yards a pop and inside drill, that's not very good for the defense, but yet that's pretty good for the offense, and I think it probably takes playing in some preseason games. It takes getting into the regular season to really figure out, where you're at. Because if you're going against your offense and defense all the time, well, I don't know what the other 31 teams look like right now, and so I think it takes kind of getting out there and playing some games before you really figure out, where you're at.
Hey, Dennis, I saw Willie Green earlier. Do y'all talk a lot?
No, I wouldn't say that we have a lot of communication, but he came out to, watch practice, offer a little support, which was pretty good to have him out here. I think there's a lot of similarities in terms of the responsibilities of the job, and so yeah, I think that was cool of him to come out and catch a little bit of practice.
Coach, when it comes to 85, were you surprised that he wasn't drafted? Was there a lot of, in the straight free agent process, was there a lot of competition for him?
85 meaning Dallin Holker?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not good on jersey numbers right now.
Oh,
And, as I recall, there was some competition for the player. Exactly what that was, I'm not sure, but I do know that there were some other teams that were interested in him, and he felt like this would be a good opportunity for him. We got a couple of Colorado State coaches on our staff, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but yeah, look, he was certainly one of the guys in free agency that we targeted to go after once he wasn't available, once he didn't get drafted.
Coach, how good is it to get Kool-Aid out there in individual drills and really see him just starting to get a little bit of work?
Yeah, look, he's got a lot of work to do. He hadn't really been able to do a whole lot, and so he's got to get himself in shape. He's got to make sure he understands the playbook, which I think that's the least of his concerns, really, when you look at how intelligent he is as a football player. So, but yeah, to answer your question, it's good to get him out here to work, a little bit of the individual drills. It just shows that we're making progress towards, getting him ready for training camp. And I think that's the ultimate goal, is to have him ready to go, once we hit, July 23rd, and get going. All right, thanks guys.